everyone, how are you? My name is Alex and welcome back to InfinityCraft. So today we are going to work on the giant cupcake that I said I wanted to live in. So I've got to go over to GamePar's concrete shop area and I've got to get some concrete from him. I also got to get some, not concrete, some stained glass from Rail, and I also have to plant a ton of dark oak trees for myself so I can harvest the dark oak because I need that to make those trapdoors that look so much like chocolate, etc., etc. So I've got some material gathering to do. I also have to go, before I do all of that, I have to go mining and get myself a whole bunch of diamonds so that I can actually buy the things from GamePar and Rail that I want to buy because I would need diamonds to do that. There's also a couple banners that I wanted to buy off of Rockerbuck as well. So yeah, everybody's going to make a lot of diamonds off of me today. So I'm going to go do all of that, and when we come back, we will be in time-lapse mode for the giant cupcake. Alright everybody, so the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about while you're watching this time-lapse is actually the concept behind what I was building and why I was building it the way I did. Because with this cupcake, what I envisioned was a cupcake with two types of icing on it, one being pink and the other being white. So like the first layer of icing is going to be pink, and like a very bright pink, and then the second layer is going to be white. And on top of it, I'm actually going to have a cherry that's going to be kind of not like stuck straight on top of it, but like off to the side a little bit. I'm going to try to make it look like it's leaning, so you know, there'll be that. And I thought about possibly putting, like, you know those decorative straws that get stuck into like ice cream and whatnot? I thought about putting like something decorative like that, but not like a straw, but something along those lines to be like an edible decoration that you'd stick in the side of a cupcake to be really unique, you know, not just it be like a cupcake, you know what I mean? Like, no offense to anybody, but anybody can build a cupcake. It's there was a lot more thinking that went into this. So what I was doing right here was working on the actual cup, or like chocolate part of the cupcake, and I did actually consider doing like a chocolate looking interior, you know, a dark chocolate interior, and then doing the paper, you know, cupcake lining going around it. But then when I thought about it some more, this is long before I ever recorded this time lapse, I wasn't thinking about it at this particular moment in the video, but when I thought about it more, I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to have it be like straight up chocolate. You know, I want the chocolate to be very visible. But at the same time, like, you can kind of just imagine this is that paper lining that goes around the bottom of a cupcake at the same time. I don't actually know what that's called. I'm not a baker, so there are a lot of like standard terms for baking that I don't really know. And have no desire to look up on Google either. So, yeah. And if you want to enlighten me in the comment section, feel free. I mean, whether or not I'll be able to remember those terms is beyond me, but that's besides the point. So, that's basically what I was working on right now. And you'll see I go through a whole bunch of different design processes with this, and I started really making it look like a house. Like, I bought the white stained glass from Rail so that I can make windows, because I love like the frosty look that the white stained glass has, and I thought frosty windows for a cupcake would be like really cool. So yeah, I added in those. I also added in some flower pots and whatnot around some of the windows, and I really had a lot of fun with this despite how annoying the weather was while I was doing this, because it kept raining so much. I was getting so irritated, and I didn't want to be cheaty and like disable the rain or something like that, because I know that the other members of the server aside from GamePar can't disable weather, so I feel like it's kind of unfair for me to do that. So I didn't want to be like a jerk, you know what I mean? And you know, take advantage of the fact that I'm a moderator and that I can do those sorts of things. It's not fair to everybody else. It also takes away the survival aspect of it, because it's like you have to build in the rain. That's how it goes in Minecraft, and as much as the rain annoys me, that's how you play Minecraft. That's the way that it goes. So yeah. So I was very, like, determined not to turn off the rain. And I know, like, in a video, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing, but, you know, like I said, I don't like to be cheaty. I just don't. So, anyways, I'm so impatient with saplings. So what I was doing around here was actually, the stairs and whatnot, and I did try it later with an upper level. I think you guys will actually see me do that at some point, and I realized that on the upper level it really didn't look good, but on the bottom level it did. I don't know why, it's just something about it. It just had the exact angle that I needed it to be at. It's very hard to make the bottom of a cupcake, by the way, because I did a lot of tests in a creative world. It's very hard to make the bottom of a cupcake without it like being too angular or not angular enough and like looking like it's straight up and down, or you know, it being so angular that it looks more like the shape of a like ice cream cone. It's like I don't want it to look like a really chubby ice cream cone. I want it to look like a cupcake, and this was literally the only thing that I could think up to make it look like a cupcake. So, or the proper shape of a cupcake, and I was very happy with this. I really was. So yeah, there is one thing that I'm considering doing with the bottom layer and turning it into stairs, because on the inside it'll still be a flat wall, but on the outside it will be, what do you call it? But on the outside it will be, stairs. That's what I was looking for. So, yeah, but anyways, there's some things that I actually wanted to talk to you guys about that are kind of personal, but not like deeply personal, but personal enough. So from time to time I mention in my videos that I had a concussion in 2017. I'm not going to talk about why I have the concussion because that is not a family-friendly topic. There are a lot of young people who watch my videos, so I'm not going to talk about the entire story behind why I have a concussion, but the bottom line is I did have a concussion, and so it did some serious damage to my balance and to the way that I talk. And unfortunately, you know, I always had this problem, but it's like the concussion kind of exacerbated this, where when you hear me pause, it's not an inability to speak or being inarticulate or just not being good at talking or anything of the sort. I've always been very good at talking. The problem is I know exactly what word I want to say. It will not come out of my mouth. And it's not... I don't know how to describe this. Like right now I really don't know how to describe it, but it's not a choice. It's not like something I can control. It's like the word will literally not come out of my mouth. It's like I cannot speak. It like prevents me from talking, and it's very frustrating because it's like I know exactly what I want to say. And it's not the same as my speech delay, where with my speech delay it's just sort of like, you know, I hear what people are saying but my brain doesn't always process it properly. It's not that. It's a little bit it's more like the words just don't come out. So it's an output, not an input. And it's very frustrating because there really is not a single thing that I could do about it other than invest in speech therapy, which I have no desire to do because I use YouTube as speech therapy, for one thing, because doing YouTube has actually helped me with this, but also I don't have time in my life for that, to commit to that. I have too many things going on. I have a job, I have YouTube, I have all of these other creative projects that I work on outside of YouTube and outside of my job. I don't have the time for that. So, and it's not like I don't want to do it, it's just I really do not have the time. If I had the time and the financial resources to invest in speech therapy, I would gladly do it, but it's not an option for me right now. Maybe in the future it will be, but you know, the other thing that I do kind of worry about sometimes with me is that I get frustrated very easily because of the concussion, and I know that I have to be with a speech therapist who is going to be a very patient person and understand that they have to move at my pace. I can't move at theirs. And I don't think there really is a person on the planet who can properly understand that. So that's the other reason why I'm a little bit reluctant. Like, the primary reason is because I simply cannot right now, but the other reason is because I have to deal with somebody who really does understand how my brain works. And I don't mean like how my brain works like related to the concussion. I mean understands how my brain works in relation to my personality and me. So that's another problem in and of itself. I'm not a very good student. You know, I never have been. And it's not like I'm not academically smart, because I am. I'm just not a good student. I just do better. I shouldn't say I tend to. I do better learning completely by myself. I just do. You know, some people are just like that. And this is actually a funny part of the video because I couldn't figure out where my, you know, dirt stairway was. Oh, this was me buying the, more concrete from him. He made so many diamonds off of me. Anyways, so that's the first thing. But the other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is, oh, what was it? I had it on my mind, like, a few minutes ago, and then I started talking about the whole speech therapy thing, and now I can't remember what it was. And this is the other problem with the concussion, is that I forget things very easily, not just like short-term memory, but long-term memory as well. Like, there are certain things from my childhood that were like significant events that I can't remember anymore. And like I can remember bits and pieces, but not like the full event. And I used to be able to remember those things very vividly, and that really makes me mad because it's like, you know, I wish I could remember what happened to me in my life, but I kind of can't remember that anymore. So, yeah, but there was something else. Oh, yeah, so I started going to the gym. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And the reason why I started going was because there was a thing that happened with me at my job, and it's not something that I can talk to you guys about in detail because it concerns a child, and I can't talk about other people's children because that's a breach of confidentiality. But there was a thing that happened at my job that was very upsetting. And so I have not been working for the past few weeks. And so it's going to take some time for me to recover from that because it was pretty serious. It was very traumatic. And, you know, the child is perfectly fine. I want to point that out. Like, no kids were hurt in the telling of this story. But it's just, it was a thing that happened. And it's just, it was pretty, it was more than what I could handle. Let me put it to you that way. So I've been out of work for a few weeks, and I needed something to do with myself that would keep me calm and keep my anxiety from going through the roof. So I started going to the gym. And it's been surprisingly helpful for me because I haven't been to the gym in a long time. A very long time. And so that's actually been really enjoyable for me. It's also been very educational because it's been so long that I don't remember any of the exercises I used to do the last time I had a gym membership, which was a very long time ago. So, you know, I basically, and this is going to sound really bad, but basically I copy other people. Like, whatever exercises I see people doing with the weights, that's what I do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like, there was this one guy that I saw doing this thing where he was rotating the weights from his hip all the way around his waist in front of himself. And I'm like, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna try that. And then like 5 of those, and I'm like, oh wow. It does a lot to the tendons in your wrist. And it's quite the workout. I'm like, this feels really good. I mean, it also kind of burns, but it feels really good. Like, it really made me feel like I was getting a workout. So there's all kinds of stuff that I've seen people do with, like, those medicine balls, if you've ever used those. It's such a funny sounding name, but they're basically these weighted, they almost look like volleyballs with, like, these funny handles on them. And they have different weights, and you know, you use them based on what you think is the most appropriate for you. And so I've been using like 5-pound and 8-pound because anything more than that can like knock me over. Because the other thing with the concussion is like it severely damaged my balance. Like, I used to be able to stand on one foot, you know, either foot for like a half an hour. And now I can't stand on one foot for more than a few minutes on either side of my body, which is a dramatic decrease in skill, and so I'm basically, all the years of my life that I spent becoming good at that, I have to learn it all over again. And when you invest like most of your lifetime in something and then you realize you have to just do it all over again, that's very frustrating, to put it simply. So I've been doing this exercise with those where I'm like kneeling almost completely on one foot and rotating this ball to one side of my body. And I go back and forth a few times, and it comes very close to knocking me over. It hasn't knocked me over, but it comes very close. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people who look at me like I'm crazy while I'm doing this, but because I get stared at, you know, when I'm doing these exercises, because I do a lot of very interesting balance exercises, but it really helps. And so, and I really enjoy it. I really do. It's so much fun. But there's also, there's another one that I do too that's really interesting. Oh yeah, so they have like, the gym that I go to has this, it's a Planet Fitness gym. If you've ever been to Planet Fitness, they've got some pretty cool stuff, and they have a 30-minute workout thing, and I do that a couple times a week. And with that, I do this, you know, standing on one foot thing for as long as I can possibly stand it. And every time I do that, the other people who are in that room stop and stare at me, because I'm just standing like in front of the mirror. Like, I can't be looking at people while I do it because it requires so much concentration, and I'll like immediately fall over if I'm looking at people. But like, to see me just standing in the mirror watching myself stand on one foot, and they look at me like I'm crazy, and it's really funny. And I think sometimes they look at me too like they're waiting for me to fall over. Like, I think that's really like their thing. But, you know, for me it's like really amusing because I don't really think it's that exciting of a thing to watch. It's just a person standing on one foot. Like, you know, everybody stood on one foot at some point in their life. You know what I mean? It's really not that exciting of a thing, but I guess to other people it is. But it's really funny because it's like, you know, you know, it's funny too because I'm standing in front of a mirror and everything that's behind me I can see. But they're staring at me while I have my back turned to them. So it's like these people don't understand that even though I have my back turned to them, there's a mirror in front of me that shows me that you're staring at me. And they keep staring. It's like they don't realize it. And to me, it's just absolutely hilarious. I mean, I know that there's like a really funny psychological reasoning behind that. And it's not like, I'm not calling these people stupid or anything of the sort because it's not the case. It's, you know, it's an illusion that the human brain falls for. It's a psychological thing. It's not something that you can really control in your brain, believe it or not. But it's just, it's so funny to me because it's like, I know you're looking at me. So, yeah, but it's, and I know that grass on the side of the thing looks really goofy, but I'm going to cover it up, don't worry. So, I just have to make the trapdoors for it. And I didn't use the chocolate, by the way, I actually used the oak. I thought it just looked cooler. So anyways, that's what I've been doing is the gym, and it really does feel good. Also, the horror of all the mobs that are under there. It's like an unintentional mob spawn. I think that's what Pig Cart said to me the last time he was down here. So, there was something else related to the server that I wanted to talk about too that's actually like important to you guys, the viewers. Oh, I remember what it was. So, we have a thread on Reddit where you can apply for Season 2 of InfinityCraft. So if you are a YouTuber who has a family-friendly channel, and family-friendly means that you don't post any content that would not be appropriate for a young audience, or in other words, minors. And in addition to that, if you have a regular upload schedule, meaning you upload videos on a regular basis, like, you know, once a week, 3 times a week, twice a week, every day, whatever the deal may be, whatever kind of schedule you have, as long as it's a regular schedule that you keep up with to the best of your ability, because I know everybody has things that suddenly happen in their lives. You know, if you do that, and in addition to that, if you are 16 years old or older, then you are welcome to apply. We're not taking kids onto the server anymore. We did raise the age to above 13 to, or from, minimum age is 13 to above 16. That's what I wanted to say. And the reason we did that was because I'm not comfortable with having children on the server. There are other people on the server who are not comfortable with having children on the server. Actually, the majority of us are not comfortable with having children on the server. I mean, we have a couple of people who are 15 years old, and they've been absolutely wonderful. And of course, they're going to be grandfathered in, because they're under 16. But, that's, we're not going to be like, well, we changed the rules and you don't meet the requirements for our rules anymore. So, too bad. We're not going to do that to people, We're not going to, kick people off the server because, we changed a rule. That's totally unfair. We would never do that. But for new members, you have to be 16 or older. And I know that there are a lot of kids who are not going to like that. But the reality is, it's not so much the kids. I work with children. I like kids. Kids are fine. There's a couple of people on the server who are parents who are not going to be upset with kids. The thing is, with any online community, kids tend to say and do things that can be very inappropriate. Kids really like to push the boundaries and test the limits to see what they can get away with, which can be a big problem for a lot of reasons because it opens us, the adults, up to being accused of something by their parents that we didn't do. And there's also, having to get, parental permission, and that takes a long time. Also, which I don't have a problem with getting parental permission, but parents can be very, for lack of a better term, parents are very protective. And they like to read the fine print. And if there is one word that they think is out of place or one thing that bothers them for whatever reason it may be, it turns into a whole thing. I don't want to have a kid apply, get really excited because we accept them, and then their parents say no and they get really upset. I don't want to go down that road. I don't think that's fair to the kid. So, and I don't want any of us to be put in a position where we're accused of something we didn't do, because a lot of parents these days, it seems to be a trend where they're accusing people of doing things they didn't do. And it's very scary, and it's I'm not going to put the entire server in jeopardy because of a parent or two parents or three parents who want to push boundaries that they shouldn't be pushing. So and I know it's a very hard thing to understand if you're young, but bottom line, there's just certain safety precautions we have to take when it comes to having an online community for kids. So that's the way that it has to be. And I'm honestly okay with it. I mean, I've discussed this with many of the people on the server. They're fine with it too. Nobody has said, hey, that's not fair. You know what I mean? Nobody's bothered by this new rule. So they're actually quite in support of it. So I think that's a good thing. So that's basically that. And so I'm going to have a link in the description to where you can actually apply on Reddit. And so, I'll link the Reddit thread in the description. So you'll see a thing in bold on that thread that, has a bunch of informational questions and, numbered statements and whatnot. Those are technically all questions. Please answer them. For some reason it's very clear what you should do in the thread, but for some reason on Reddit, a lot of people answer those questions, but they send it to me in a message. Please don't do that. Because if you send it to me in a message, I'm the only person who sees it, and we need it to be public so that all of the members of InfinityCraft can go to this thread and view it and then share their opinion on Discord, because we discuss all of this stuff on Discord. We're very vocal on Discord, so if it's not there for them, then I have to send you a message asking you to please put it on the Reddit thread, and not everybody wants to do that, which makes sense, and it's kind of an inconvenience for you and for me, so please just follow the directions, okay? And, it also doesn't, unfortunately, it does not make you look that great if you don't follow directions. I mean, to be perfectly honest, it doesn't show you in the best light, so, be aware of that as well. So that's why I'm trying really hard right now to convince you to please follow directions. So, Yeah, but anyways, that's pretty much that. I'm about to run out of time, so I don't have anything more to talk about. I mean, I do, but I don't at the same time. So anyways, I'm gonna let you guys just finish watching this with some music and go into the outro. Alright everybody, so as you can see I'm standing on top of the giant cupcake, and the reason I've stopped building is because the server connection keeps cutting out on me. I'm not really sure why it's doing it, but it's really hard to record while the server's not behaving, so I'm going to have to do some maintenance on the server before I try to build anymore. Otherwise I'm not going to get anything done. And I'm also really tired of the rain too. That was starting to really get on my nerves. But anyways, I think I've made a lot of progress for what I have here. It's pretty big. I mean, I would definitely say this is a giant cupcake. I mean, it could maybe be bigger if you're thinking of the definition of giant, but I'm happy with its size. I think it looks pretty cool. So anyways, before the server tries to cut out on me again, I'm going to uh, basically just outro here. This is like a really awkward outro for me. But anyways, I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, then feel free to subscribe, comment, and like if you want to see more. And in the next episode, we're definitely going to finish up the giant cupcake and move on to other projects. So anyways, thank you guys very much, and as always, I will see you guys next time.